Welcome. I am here with Courtney Schwartz. Her title is Marketing and Events Manager at FireWorks Coworking in Marietta, Georgia. But she is passionate about humans and community building and using AI to give her time back in order to connect, support, and uplift her community. So I was just asking Courtney how it is that she came to speak at the GWA Immersive that was in Atlanta because while she was speaking, Kim Lee texted me and was like, "You have to have Courtney on the podcast." So I had remembered that. And of course, Fireworks, Sunny and Rob went through our startup school. Nicole has been in our community manager program forever. You were in it for a little while. So I have a huge connection to your team and am thrilled to get to connect with any of you. But so that was exciting. And I didn't know about this passion of yours. And so I texted Kim last night. I said, okay, remind me, what did you think I should talk to Courtney about? And she said, okay, I can't remember exactly everything, but if you get her going, you will be so impressed, which I already am. And she's like, on her own, she's gotten several certifications in AI. And then she just said, I don't think, I won't say this part. It is clear that you're a self-starter and really motivated to run with things. And she just totally admired that. And she seemed to think that your team helped to create an environment that like gave you the space to do those things.
Oh,
And I
excellent.
actually just interviewed Nicole. So,
Yeah.
which, because I was like, I can't believe I've never had you or Nicole on the podcast. Sunny and Rob were on ages ago.
hmm
And I mean, Nicole was giving me a little bit of like your role breakdown because I was like, okay, who does what?
hmm
But we didn't get into sort of your AI passion. And so let's start with like, give us a little bit of your background, how you ended up, Sunny and Rob hired you thinking there was another location coming. And then there was, sort of some like, okay, what do we do now? So give us
Yeah.
the update.
So, okay, back up a little bit.
Hmm.
I got pulled on full time when our original community manager, her name was Hannah. You
I
probably
know
know
Hannah
her.
was in our community manager
I
program for
know.
ages too. Yeah.
We love her. We love her.
Yeah.
But she had to go full time somewhere else. And so I had done a little bit of contracting for Fireworks, done a few of their events. And that's really where I excelled was the community building and events and all that stuff. So when Hannah decided to move on, they gave me a call and, asked me if I could come on part-time for a little bit. And I told Sunny, I was like, yeah, okay, I'll quit my job and come work for you. And he was like, no, 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 don't do that. Don't do that. And I was just like, no, it's okay. It's fine. So I did.
Okay.
And about that place was actually closing down. I was a server at that
Okay.
moment. So he didn't know that, but I did put
Yeah.
that pressure on him.
But also I love he was thinking, okay, I'm trying to figure out what do we need? I don't want to over commit and have you and you were like, no, I'm all in, let's go. Yeah.
100%. I mean, I've always had a passion for fireworks, even before I ever even got pulled on. I've been working for Sunny for quite some time now. So I really, really have watched this place grow from the beginning a little bit. So it was a no-brainer at all for me to be here. And then a little while after that, we pulled Nicole on full time. And then that's where our roles kind of divided. I went towards events and she went more towards community management. And then with that, I just, we have a lot of tech in our space. I mean, all of our screens are AV equipped, all of our digital screens and our offices for our branding and everything like that. That's something that's really personal to Sunny and Rob. So
Yeah.
kind of sliding into that tech knowledge field was part of the gig. I mean, you
Okay.
kind of had to do that
Yeah.
for sure.
Roll up your sleeves, figure it out, learn it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so we kind of had some like eat the frog moments of, what can I do to take off of your plate right now to Sunny and Rob that can help you guys have more time for the business, right? So that's where that idea really came in. Very early on, I decided that I was going to take stuff off of Rob and Sunny's plate so that they could have more time within the community. And then a little while after that is when the AI phenomenon literally just erupted, right? And so I started thinking about what my frogs were and how I could then turn around and automate some of the things that I was doing on a day-to-day that I could then turn around and reinvest that time into our community, our community inside FireWorks Coworking and our local community in Marietta. And so being able to do that has really just opened up a lot of doors for us, being able to, gain awareness, hopefully trying to find a second space, really, really working in, local research, kind of getting more immersed into what Marietta actually is and what it has to offer. It really just became a huge passion of mine. And then that kind of took off.
Wait, did you grow up in Marietta?
I did. I
Okay.
did. Yeah, I was born at, you can't see, but I can see the hospital. I was born at that
Oh, that's
hospital and
crazy.
basically never left. Yeah.
That's so funny. Okay. So you sort of like jumped in with technology, but talk about, because before I hit record, you were talking about your passion for the people, and it sounds like that's just like a part of you. I could
Oh,
also
yeah.
say I've not been to Fireworks, but I've always just felt like Sunny and Rob created this community
Oh,
really
yeah.
out of their own kind of community because they were running their agency and they had, contractors, and they live and work in Marietta. And the origins were that it was really for creatives. And I just always
Exactly.
heard from Hannah like these great stories of people connecting. And it
Oh,
sounds
yeah.
like it's diversified a little bit, but it's like a neighborhood space. It's, locally run and owned, and just like all the good things that can happen when, Nicole was talking about like people's kids go to school to get, it's just like all those things that kind of make this like really great local community. So like where did that passion for people come from?
Yeah. Well, I've always had a passion for people, but this space is just so inspiring. From day one, I always tell people the best part about my job is watching people come to work who actually want to be here and meeting people and collaborating with them, meeting people who they would have never ever had the opportunity to connect with on this level and collaborating and watching people live out their dreams on a day-to-day basis, because that's exactly what it is. I mean, we've got local entrepreneurs, we've got startups, we've got creatives, we've got everybody who is really passionate about bringing something to life with their business. And me being the person that's able to support that has just been incredible to me. I love getting to know all of the people. I love getting to know about their families, their businesses, and I just love hearing the passion in their voice whenever they talk about it, because that's what this whole entire space is. I mean, you don't get people here who are another day at the office, mundane, like, let me go to my cubicle. I don't want to talk to you because we work together. Like, we get people who are energized and passionate and want to be a part of something bigger than just their day-to-day job. And so that really, really inspires me as a person, because I've always, like I said, been a people person, but the nature of our space here that we have in our community, I mean, you can't not be inspired when you're here. It's awesome.
Yeah, you just sort of packaged up the magic of, I mean, what a co-working space can mean to people. Like that's
Yeah,
really the ultimate goal for so many operators, and you're living that. I mean, it's so special. And for your
exactly.
role, I always tell people like for the right person, the community manager role is amazing because you're so passionate about like the actual role. That being said, you mentioned as we started talking that the admin of the role can
Mm,
be really like can really overshadow the opportunity to do the work that you want to do and to be present
certainly.
with your members. So talk about like a little bit, about that, and then how you started thinking about AI to, because I think that's the other thing. Like I just love your perspective is kind of perfect because I think the co-working community is so people focused, and I see
Hmm.
resistance around worrying like AI is going to be used in some sort of like non-authentic way, which it totally could be.
Absolutely.
But the magic of it is that it can be used to get back your time.
100%.
Yeah. So yeah, I would love to hear from your perspective how you started thinking about it and what you started doing. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so originally, and I'll go back to that eat the frog moment, it actually started with me thinking about what was the one thing that took me the most time out of my job whatsoever. And if Kat Johnson was here, she would laugh at me because we talked about this several times, was writing blogs. Writing blogs for co-working was hard for me in the beginning, okay? I don't know why. other than it
Oh,
was
I
just,
anticipate it's very hard for all community managers.
yeah.
I
And
mean, you probably had you ever written a blog before?
no.
Okay, why do we think it's hard? You've never done it before,
Right.
and you're trying to figure out how do I make this relevant, interesting? What is this
Yeah.
for? SEO? Yeah,
Yeah. And so, I was kind of getting hit with a little bit of, I guess I'll go say, imposter syndrome of
like
what,
who am I to be writing these blogs? I've never written
yeah,
blogs
a little
before. I'm new to
bit.
co-working.
Yeah. And more so, I felt like I had the ideas and I had the passion, I had the thoughts, but I'd also never been a professional writer. I've
Mhm.
never been a professional writer or anything like that.
Totally.
So finally hitting publish on that was hard for me, going through and proofreading it, making sure that there was no typos, making sure that all of my grammar was correct, making sure like I would sit there, I would write the blog, I would read it out loud to myself in the mirror to make sure that it read correctly. Then I would rewrite the blog again. I mean, and this is just, it's just a small thing, but it ended up taking me so
Yeah.
much time. So when AI started coming out, I saw it as an opportunity and it started taking up time for, my colleagues as well. I'm like, hey, will you come and proofread this for me? Can you make sure that this sounds right? Can you make sure it's following the brand voice? Like, at the beginning, like that was hard for me,
Mhm.
right? So when AI started coming out, it wasn't perfect. We know that. I mean, you could tell it was AI from a mile
Yeah.
away, right? So using it for content was never,
Big news, emoji.
yeah, no, that was
Yeah.
never ever
Exciting
that.
news. Yeah.
Right. So what I did essentially was I uploaded my brand kit, my brand font, everything, colors, tone, everything like that to my chat agent, right? And I started uploading my blogs after I'd already finished rewritten them, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I started uploading them and saying, hey, can you proofread this for me? Hey, can you ensure that this is in the correct brand voice and all that stuff? And then it would start giving me suggestions on how to maybe repurpose that or how to, make it a little bit better, but it was still me, right?
Mhm.
So that's when I started realizing that if I was able to use it for this one small application and it saved me endless time, how else am I able to kind of start utilizing this? And so I started using it for local SEO. I started using it to try and identify who our perfect member was, because as you mentioned, we started out as a space for creatives, but we've kind of evolved to something a bit more than that. And that's because the nature of our community has always been community focused. It's always been about the members. It's always been about collaboration. Sunny and Rob started FireWorks because of their marketing company. They wanted to collaborate with other, individuals, other creatives. And then those creatives had friends that were web developers. And then those friends had, friends who were realtors. And, it kind of has compounded into something so big
Yeah.
that making sure that how I'm repurposing all of our content is hitting the right people at the right time. Because it's not just the creatives who are going to be on Instagram at 9:30 at night so you can schedule your posts and all that stuff. Like, you're hitting professionals on LinkedIn. You're talking to the people who don't know anything about co-working on Google. You're talking to the people who have questions on Reddit, and you're trying to figure out how you can position yourself as an expert, as a trusted resource for co-working, because a lot of times, and you know this as well as I do, co-working is still so new that we're still educating people, right? So if
Co-working's new, AI is new.
yeah, we're still
and co-working.
educating.
I mean, I think I've been going to co-working conferences now for 13 years.
See, that's crazy.
But that was the very first Juicy. Like, it's that new,
Oh yeah.
It's
Well,
we
and it's
forget.
evolved
Yeah.
such in a different way now. It was what is co-working? I've never heard of that. Now everything is co-working, but it's not really, because if you're not focused on your community, if you're not
Yeah.
uplifting your members, if you're not doing events and all of these things, you're actually just a third space. So we're
Yeah.
still trying to educate people about what co-working is. And so
And what version of it might be right for them.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. And so I took that opportunity to try and educate my community as much as I possibly could about the differences between co-working and working at a cafe. We have great relationships with our cafe people. We love them, love them, love them. And if that's the kind of vibe that you want, that's fine. But I felt the need to try and set our space up so that people knew what to expect when they came in. They knew what the kind of community that they were going to get. And I found that using AI to start churning that in a different way was really, really impactful. And it gave me a lot of time back to then go out to my local community as a person, go to the networking events and really just talk about who we are and who we serve and why we're here, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I even love that simple example because I work with a lot of operators trying to figure out their marketing mix, and it's always a question of like, okay, they want to get into the community, but how do they free up their team's time to do that? Because
Yeah.
and I work with a lot of operators on hiring. I run the community
Mhm.
manager program, and I always tell people like the members of the community manager group, I mean, they're probably filters like selective in some sense because the owners are investing and they've opted in, and so they're like the cream of the crop. But even the cream of the crop doesn't show up knowing how to do all the things. They're
Mhm.
great at IT, they're great at community, they're great at writing blog
Exactly.
posts. No way. I would
Right.
say like you're looking for a unicorn, you're not going to find one, and so
Mhm.
you need to figure out kind of how to balance that. So the blog
Yeah.
post example is such a good one. Okay, and then then you decided to get a certification. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So once I realized it, so as I'm getting into AI and I'm using it for just like regular admin stuff, proofreading, conceptual ideas and, trying to point me in the right direction to reach my clients. Well, then I started thinking about, well, if we decided that we wanted to open up another space, how would we do that? Because if you do market research, demographic research, that is very expensive. And if you're an
Yeah.
indie co-working space, trying to gather all of this information is just, I mean, it's almost impossible, right? So what I did, what I did was I essentially took a demographic research report from that we got from a local town over,
Mhm.
and I uploaded that to my AI agent and I said, I also put in our demographics here at FireWorks. I said, look, I'm looking for a space similar to this vibe. It has to have this walkability score. It has to have X amount of square footage. It has to have these demographics. Can you identify different locations that might serve those areas, right? And so from there, I was able to then start pulling out tons and tons of different demographic research, censuses, and being able to compile it into real-time reports for my boss, Sunny, and being able to go over and streamline. We still haven't found our next location yet, so I can't say that this is foolproof or anything like that,
Yep.
but it has significantly saved us time and money trying to figure out what our right fit is. And when we do find another place that we think that we can get connected with or that it seems the right thing, that now frees up time for me to go and shake the hands with the mayors
Yeah.
and talk to the economic development team and see in person how we can really change their community there. So utilizing the AI for hyperlocal SEO and demographic research has been a real game changer for us. And being able to use it to just free up more time for us to really interact with our community, that's the big thing. I think that a lot of people get scared of AI because they think that it's going to replace them in their job, but it'll only do that if you let it. And only the people who let it do that are not actually really, in my opinion, invested in their work. They're just kind of trying to push forward. And I think that the people who are utilizing it to become closer to their community and be more present as a person rather than letting it replace all of their content, because I mean, you can see it. There's no way you can't tell when an AI image is, I mean, it's getting better, right? But AI images, you can see them, any content, any caption that's just said, hey, write me an Instagram caption for this graphic. They don't even prompt anymore. They'll just put the graphic in and just say, write an Instagram caption for this graphic. That's not the way that you need to be utilizing it. It needs to be a tool and an extension of yourself, not a replacement of yourself. And I think that for our hyper-local businesses and our indie co-working space operators and all of those people who are afraid to dip their toes in the water, either because they think that it's too big or too much for their small space, or they don't think that they have a use for it, or they are afraid of either how advanced or how unadvanced it is and how that'll affect their brand voice. It just really just depends on your utilization of it. It will control you. It will take over if you let it. But if you're using it as an extension of yourself, like I think that we all should, you have a really, really high chance of being able to create something big and impactful in your community.
Yeah, there's so many layers to what you just said. I
I know,
mean,
I'm sorry.
the commute, no, it's so good. I'm sitting here listening and, sort of thinking, okay, how do we, I just want to like dive a little deeper on a couple of the points you made. I think community managers will be expected to use AI because really good owners want Courtney. Courtney's not for hire, by the way, for anybody listening. So people are thinking, how do I get Courtney? Because it's a small business. The margins are not huge.
Right.
So you want, to your point, you don't want to hire somebody who's doing like the baseline and stuck in admin work all day. No, thank you. And frankly, that stuff can be outsourced. Like anybody can do that. It's
Yeah, I
the
mean,
Courtney.
most places are offering a virtual assistant in
Yep.
addition, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's the Courtney and the Nicole, like live and in person, and the amount of time you can spend investing in your community that's really where the value is, right? And I
100%.
think, I mean, I also really, I'm an Enneagram 3, so I'm so passionate. You might be a 1. A 1 is a perfectionist. Your whole
I'm a
blog post thing.
6.
Oh, you're a
Oh.
6. You know what you are. Okay, wait.
Yeah.
Like high level, what's a 6?
Okay, so wait a second. I did this. Sunny
I
made
might
me
have to
do
look
this
it up.
whenever I first got hired. So I don't know. I just know that
I'm
I'm
gonna
a
Google
6.
it.
Yeah, please
That's
do.
funny. I think 1 is a perfectionist. I was like, oh, this whole blog post thing.
Yeah, I mean, no, I mean,
Ooh.
it comes from like, because I have a background in service. I was a server before I started as a community manager, and I the word plop is not the right word, but it's kind of the right word. I just kind of started doing this. It was never something of a career path that I expected to do until
Right. It says everyone. How did I
right,
get into
right.
coworking?
So the imposter syndrome was real there because
Yeah,
it's like I
totally.
didn't study to do this. I didn't, set out
Yeah.
to do this, but I'm
Okay, I love the
passionate about it
imposter
now.
syndrome because a key characteristic of an Enneagram 3 is being without support, guidance, or security. That doesn't actually sound like you because it sounds like you're like, okay, I'm going to figure this out. But this sense of like, well, I need to figure out how to be good at this. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
super interesting. Anyway, Enneagram 3s are very like efficiency focused. And
Yeah.
so same thing for me, like when I'm working with people, I want to get to like the real meat of the problem. I don't want to spend all this time like analyzing Excel reports and if I can get that stuff done like really quickly so that I can do so I think that's what we're all doing is like, well, how do you get rid of sort of that like tedious baseline work so that you can elevate the work that you're doing? It's not
Mhm.
working yourself out of a job. It's like, well, how do I get to that like next level of activity and contribution? And
Well,
it's getting rid of I mean, we'll never get rid of all the admin, but it's like making that stuff go faster is so valuable. And for me, I expect my team members to be up on, because we also don't want to pay people who are not efficient. We want like the value of getting to like working with team members at that next level is so fun for owners. I mean, it's efficient, but also just more like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like satisfying,
yeah.
to have team members thinking and working. And so you're freeing up your brain to think about the things that add more value to the team, which is awesome.
Well, exactly, and I mean, I'm sorry if you are this person, and aside from like bookkeepers, but I don't ever really hear of anybody that's like, oh yeah, I'm really excited to crunch these numbers right now, or I'm really excited to analyze my Google Analytics profile today so that I can, implement these new things. I mean, I'm passionate about that stuff. I like
I'm a
to
little
do
bit
that.
of a nerd, so yes,
I like
also,
to do that stuff.
but to your point,
But
how do you use AI to do like to get sort of the baseline stuff done so you can get into the insights and the things that really can move the needle?
yeah, I mean, and so that's another thing. Like, You would be surprised at how many business owners and even co-working space owners have Google business profiles and Instagram
No,
pages
I'm
now
not surprised.
and
No.
they don't know anything about the
Yeah.
insights or the analytics behind it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, if you don't know that stuff and you can look all day and Google will try and tell you and all that stuff, why don't you start small? Why don't you say, hey, I need help understanding my Google business profile. This is my main goal. And maybe don't put all your analytics in there because we know it's not safe, but this is my main goal. This is the vibe of my space. And then these are the numbers that I'm seeing, like, like for yesterday I only got 4 people who visited my page, but then I got 100 people who visited my page the other day. Like, how can I identify what the defining factors are?
Mhm.
And if you feel weird about it, I've even seen people who have had AI make up a fictional character as themselves, but using fictional numbers, fictional data, fictional stuff, but using like an example that they're actually going through. So if I was going to say,
So
like,
it's not your own.
right,
Yeah.
you wouldn't put in your
Yeah.
own stuff 100%, but getting your AI to answer these questions that you have that you don't exactly know how to ask, digging down deep and figuring out what these mean will really just help propel you anyway. If you're looking at your Google Business Platform dashboard and you have no idea what a query means, you need to probably start analyzing what, using AI to streamline that. Because if you don't know what a query is, how can you do anything with that data, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't have the data, then you can't do anything to begin with. You don't know where to start. So using it as, I mean, even it's completely baseline. I mean, it's great, to get going and really to start utilizing it and helping yourself be more present in the community. And that's a great goal to be, but if you don't know where to start, ask the question, that's really what it's there for, is to really help you get going, to figure out what your new goal is and help you, accomplish that yourself, not necessarily use it as a replacement.
Yeah. I think the other thing, one of the big discussions that I'm following is this challenge of like big companies want to replace like, lower level roles. And the challenge is, well, everybody starts at that lower level, right? And then, so we're all new at one point. We all graduate from college or from high school or with some sort of training, and then we're new at something and we work our way up. And you can't just like, how does everybody get developed,
Yeah.
So I think that's the other thing is like, you have to really understand, which is clear you do, like the role, and you're a little more marketing focused. So Nicole doesn't do marketing. Like you're the one. Yeah. So for any community managers who are listening who have no idea what you're talking about, you do have you have your charter is more marketing focused. And so
Yes.
you
Yeah.
are spending more time diving into some of these things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that for the community manager, I mean, almost all of our platforms at this moment, whether you're using Office R&D, if you're using, the CoWorks app, if you're using, I think, Anytime Mailbox, all of our integrational apps, Keezy, they've all got some kind of AI interface on them in some capacity, whether it's a chat bot or whether it's, a automatic integration or anything like that. So having that understanding of how to utilize that in
Even that
like
basic.
you can't get away from it. There's no point in the community manager's journey at this point where you can say, oh yeah, we're non-AI. We don't integrate AI at all. Like that's not us. You can't. You have to at least be able to keep up with the times in order to stay relevant on the platforms,
Yeah, I totally agree. Oh, I know what the other thing I wanted to dive into. I think about this a lot. As an Enneagram 3, I get really impatient sometimes with AI and I don't get the output that I want. It's because I have not given it good inputs.
Oh yeah.
To your point, here's a photo, write a caption for me. Well, you're probably going to get crap that's not aligned with your brand. I mean, you know this, and I think because I keep thinking like I need to start doing some content about AI because I'm like testing and just playing with a lot of stuff. And I was just thinking when I was getting ready for this podcast, because I just had to start over, kind of on a project I was working on, is it's just like garbage in, garbage out. You have got to be invested in training it. And
Oh
there's,
yeah.
again, so many layers to this. You do want to be careful about security. Someone actually just mentioned to me that there is a confidential like transaction happening, and he's like, oh, this other person knew about it because they were doing research in ChatGPT or whatever, and it came up,
Mm-hmm.
which means that somebody working on that confidential project was using it. Who knows? Did they draft a press release? Did they put in a bit Excel model? Like, who knows? You can use the temporary chat, and if you're using ChatGPT, there's a
Mm-hmm.
temporary chat mode and you can turn it on. And I mean, there's settings where you can say, I don't want this to train the model.
Mm-hmm.
And you can turn on the temporary chat and it will not use the memory. So it won't store. You're not totally sold.
No, no. I
Okay.
mean, no. They have any query, any prompt, anything like that that you put in there. Whether they are selling it to the greater public or training the models of the greater public, maybe they're definitely training their models on what you're prompting. So I will say, I mean, back whenever I did my immersive conference, 73% of all content that you consumed online and in person had been touched by AI at some form or capacity. Now, I don't know that official number today off the top of my head, but I can tell you it's significantly higher than 73%.
Yeah.
So just know that at some point it gets to the where the bot is learning from the bot because
Yep.
everybody's content is all
Yep.
AI focused. So that's why you see a lot of really bland, really mundane, really just generic chats because right now it's all learning from the bots.
Yeah.
Everybody's going AI crazy. Everything is, AI touched and focused, so it's learning from that. So one of the biggest things that you can do is brush really good up on your prompt engineering skills. And one of the biggest things that helped me whenever I first started was get really, really in depth with your prompt. I mean, there was one point where I had one single prompt and it was 4 Word document pages long. 4 Word document pages long for one single prompt, right? That I don't do that anymore. Now I have different settings and parameters set. But, one of the biggest things that you can do when you start is give it your very specific prompt and at the end of your query, say, before you proceed with this action, please detail back exactly what you're going to do for me and tell me the processes that you're going to take step by step so that I can ensure that we're getting the correct prompt and wait for my keyword of, okay, let's go, or whatever it is. Wait for my keyword once I've reviewed your process of actions and make sure that I don't have anything else that I want to add or take away from. And then you can kind of see how it's dealing with your processes because it's learning from you as well as learning from the greater public. So it tries to respond back to your prompts as best as it thinks that you're going to understand. So if you're giving it short prompts, then it's giving you three-step processes. Yeah. But if you're asking it to go through every single step of your process, give it your outcome each time, just being able to train your bot on how you expect prompts and queries and all that stuff to come back, that's a really great way to do it. Another way is if you should use your chats separately. So you shouldn't just start a new chat each time you have a new thought or something like that. Create a marketing chat, talk to you. Hey, you are a marketing manager. You are the best marketing thing in the world, whatever,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, give it a roll.
Always go back to that chat whenever you're going off on another prompt, even if it's for a different thing. All of my marketing, I've got Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of that stuff, but I want it to keep the same brand voice. So I can kind of section it out. So my marketing chat knows that it's marketing. My analytics chat knows it's analytics. And so I'm able to tailor those responses back to me based on the chat and the prompt. And I find that those are the easiest ways to get started if you're having trouble figuring out why you're getting generic looking prompts or responses.
Well, and to your point, spending the time to create your brand guide, which a lot of spaces don't have. Who is your ideal customer? right, what's unique about your market, your community,
Hmm.
and giving it that context, because otherwise it's pulling from the world, like
Oh
it's
yes.
pulling from the internet.
Oh yeah.
And one of my favorite uses of AI is to like just tell it like only use information, which
Mhm.
doesn't apply if you're looking for demographic, if you're doing research, but
Yeah. It
it's
just
not.
depends on how you want to use it.
Yeah. Yeah. And you said chat, but projects, like you would create a project in ChatGPT or
Yes.
Claude. Have
Yes.
you tried Claude Cowork yet?
No, I haven't actually.
You must.
I must.
I keep texting Kim. Actually, sometimes I send Kim like Loom videos of I'm like,
Hmm.
this is blowing my mind. You should see what just happened here. I got really sick of ChatGPT's like voice. I can't
Hmm.
stand it anymore, frankly. So I
Okay.
use it for like little personal stuff, but I moved over to Claude. I
Uh-huh.
just really like in the cowork functionality, you have to be on a paid account, but it's $20 a month,
Yeah.
is life changing. It still requires very good prompting and very good inputs, and you have to be really specific. And I'm sure ChatGPT does some of the same work. I just love the interface.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
And that's the cool thing about, each different platform now is, there are some really niche, AIs that are specifically for
yeah.
graphics and videos, Nana Banana and all that good stuff. And then
Hmm.
they've got some that are now straight for co-working, some that are just general. I mean, there's a different platform for each person. I mean, and as you get up, you can get into super grok and do, Python coding and all that kind of
Yeah.
crazy stuff. So a lot of times people think that AI is just one big conglomeration of thing
Yep.
and they don't know where to start. But there's so many different
Yes.
ways that you can get introduced to it that's not, I have to be a tech major and, know everything about my business and analytics and all that stuff before I start. I can ask the small questions and just get going. I can bounce ideas off of it. I can, figure out what my new role in the community would look like if I didn't have to do this kind of stuff. And so just using it, starting small. That's the best thing that I can tell
Yeah.
any local business. Start small and feel it out. I personally like ChatGPT. You like Claude. My sister, she loves Grok. I mean, that's her thing. It just depends on who you are and,
Yeah.
and what your vibe is. So there is one for everybody. And if you find that you are researching one and you become extremely overwhelmed, switch over to a different platform,
Or to
there's
your
going to be one
point,
for you.
just start trying things. I
Yeah.
was definitely like a little bit in that phase of like kind of overthinking it. And I do get frustrated sometimes because I try to move too fast and then I don't get the output I like. But I'm learning so much, and you can't learn without just doing it and
Hmm.
trying it and knowing
Hmm.
you're going to make some mistakes and then you're going to figure some things out. And
Hmm.
some tools are better for things than others. And to your point, like AI is like a concept, it's not a tool. So
Right.
ChatGPT is like one of the models, and Claude's one of the models. And then there's all these other, yeah, for content creation. I'm dying to try some of the like avatar creators but I will say for content, and I mean, I think authenticity is so important. I've tried to use ChatGPT is hardest, like to write like podcast outlines or whatever. And I feel like when I don't do the work to think through it myself,
Oh yeah.
it's just a disaster, you
A
know?
100%.
So there are times like I just don't use it for podcast content because I
Yeah.
can't. Someday, maybe I will, but
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like that's, how I mentioned before, like AI generated content, AI generated photos. We don't like that, this and that. That's not completely true. I mean, you see people making the little animated graphics and all of those things, and those are great. Like if you're using it in the right way. But if you're using it as a deception or
yeah,
as if I created an AI image of everybody having the best time here at Fireworks, real life looking people and all that kind of stuff.
right.
And
And it
then
was
I
like
pushed
an invented, yeah,
Yeah,
Yep.
so I find that a lot of people are trying to figure out what that line of
Yeah.
authenticity looks like still,
Yeah.
because we've gone from doing everything, all of the content creation ourselves, all of the captions, all of the videos, all of the everything ourselves, doing all of the editing. And so being able to lean on AI just for a little bit of like, hey, can you edit this? Can you proofread this? Or can you help me, come up with an idea of how to reuse this, almost feels ingenuine to a lot of us who have been in this industry for a long time.
Hmm.
But that's why you start small, just
Yeah.
figure out ways that it can help be an extension of you.
100%. Okay, so wait, circling back to the certifications, you
Sure.
found like a program you were interested in, and you were like, I'm going to go through,
Yeah,
talk about that.
Coursera does AI certifications and Google Analytics certifications as well. So I got involved with them, and then the Marketing AI Institute as well. They are fantastic. If you have a million trillion bazillion hours to go through
A
this,
free time.
a free time to do, I happened to find the Marketing AI Institute back in November of 2021. So when they were first starting this playbook, right, and when we were using LLMs and script Python coding so that you could create your own agent, I was pretty involved with that. So watching this playbook really expand in real time has been fantastic, and it starts all the way from from very, very beginner level to high level coding. So, and you can kind of go at your own pace there if you want to. But Coursera offers the actual certification if you wanted
Okay.
to go and get certified.
Mhm.
And then I know that I think Harvard is offering a online certification as well, and you don't have to be a Harvard student to get that certification. But mine is through Coursera.
Wait, can you spell that?
Coursea.
Oh, okay. I was spelling it with an I. Oh, I just want to make sure I have it. So I'm going to put it in the show notes for anybody who's interested.
Yeah. It's
Awesome.
not free, obviously,
Yep.
and it takes a lot of time. So definitely, there are some, I think, really beginner level classes. So Coursera, they have all different kinds of courses on all different kinds of stuff. Whatever you want to learn about, they will pretty much offer you a certification class, like based with whomever.
Yep.
Like Google Analytics, they have a Google Analytics class there. And then the Marketing AI Institute did theirs as well. So I don't know exactly what all they've updated it on recently, but they do have some free ones that you can just go and get like beginner level knowledge all the way up to actual certifications, right?
Does it have an R? Is it Coursera?
Coursera. That's
Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. I was like, that's got to be it. Okay.
I'm also dyslexic, so
Oh, wow.
yeah, so that's
Um,
why I misspelled that or missaid that.
do you find that AI helps you sort of compensate?
For my dyslexia?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it helps because I put a lot of my content in there and make it check for typos and
Yeah.
all that good
Yeah.
stuff.
You can feel more confident. Okay.
Yeah, I mean that's just, I feel like everybody should do that. But
Totally. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know, I was telling Kat the other day, like I almost am at the point where I intentionally would love to leave some typos in there just so that somebody knows that a human person, actually wrote this content for them, because it's so hard. I mean, I feel like everybody's telling me right now, like, I can't trust anything that I see online.
Oh, I
I don't.
feel like people trust everything. From my perspective, it drives me nuts because I make my living being an expert in something.
Sure. Yeah.
And people think that ChatGPT is an expert, and or that like people who write content using ChatGPT are experts. They're not.
No,
Like you
they're
have to
not.
actually have lived and learned in order to know it. You can't know it because ChatGPT told you, and it makes me insane.
Yeah.
But I think people are not very good at discerning. So I
Mm,
actually think the opposite. So you feel like
really?
people are skeptical. I feel like people don't really discern, which is a challenge because I think if you don't, use a tool to help you create content faster, you can lose because, somebody else is creating content faster, even if it's like bad. you know?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Because I don't think people are all that discerning, but I don't know. We're totally in a weird time where it's hard to know. I will put the Coursera. So the wait, I want to mention my new favorite tool is Whisperflow.
Oh,
It's not, I don't even know if you categorize it as AI. It's WISPR flow,
uh-huh.
and it is changing my life. So it and I think this is it's relevant for any business owner, any community manager. You download the app, it has a mobile version and a desktop app, and it gives you like a shortcut on your keyboard and you can dictate anything and it like corrects it. So like if you have a bunch of ums and ahs, so you train it like with your voice and it can learn like how you speak and ask you a question about your style. Like, do you like to use exclamation marks? Which I do.
Yeah,
So it is saving so much time. It's
that is
nuts.
awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I have to look into that
Yeah.
because I
And you can, I actually was at an appointment for my daughter yesterday. I was sitting in the waiting room and I was like, I got to respond to a bunch of emails. And you can whisper into, like, literally, it's called Whisper Flow, but you can whisper into your microphone and it'll pick it up. So I was just sitting there, like, whispering my,
that is cool.
because even things like that, right? Like, how many emails do community managers write,
Oh,
or marketing teams? It's like so
easily.
many. Yeah, like quick responses. And it is just totally changing my life. So I had to mention that. I wanted to circle back to you said something about like, oh, I don't know how much these courses cost. I would like to say to anybody listening, invest in these programs for your team. Give them the paid subscription to ChatGPT or Claude. Like the $20 a month, I mean, it just pays itself back so many times over. And I think we're just at a time. I mean, I run the community manager university program because, I mean, you're such a great example of this. Like, you're so passionate about development, right? You love to learn, you want to be better at your job, and you need to be able to invest in that. And
Hmm.
so, giving your team a little budget to like invest in classes is good for the business and good for retention. Like,
Oh yeah.
so, I mean, I get the sense Sunny and Rob probably are like, yeah, whatever you need, Courtney, like take the classes, buy the tools
Yeah.
to an
Yeah.
extent. I mean, you can, I try to be really careful because I will go overboard on the tools. So I try to like really keep it reined in and I'll test something and then cancel it if, but
Yeah.
yeah,
They have
invest to an extent.
Oh, yeah. They definitely are very passionate about not only our community development, but our team's personal development as well. And they've made that very, very clear to both Nicole and I that, our community is better when we are as best as we can be. And so investing in ourselves and making sure that we're a part of our community, making sure that we have the tools and the knowledge that we need to help better our community and be a resource here, that they want that completely. 100%. So I'm very, very blessed to have that.
Yeah, I love it. Awesome. Okay, I could talk to you all day long. We'll have to do this again. You have such a depth of knowledge and so much enthusiasm. It's really, really fun.
Well, thank
I
you.
do want to say to anybody listening that you've been really involved because I said, how did you come to speak at the GWA Immersive? And you're like, well, I am involved in a lot of, you have a lot of connections in the industry. And so probably Geo asked for a recommendation and you came up and you were local. And so even if you can't go to conferences, it's expensive to go, it's time, et cetera. So a lot of marketing managers, community managers don't get the opportunity to go, but look for local events.
Yeah.
The Immersive was local for you. There's one in Dallas this week. And also just like stay engaged. I mean, because you're clearly, out there and people are getting to know. And then, I mean, if you do get asked to be on a panel, it's like a vicious cycle. You'll get asked again and again
Yeah.
to share
But
your expertise.
I love that. I love that. I'm totally open to anybody who's listening. If you want to chat more, if you want to invite me on a panel, I'm down. Call me.
I love it.
But yeah, I'm just really passionate about co-working in our whole entire, not just the Marietta community, but the community that you have built so beautifully, Jamie. Like it's just incredible. Whenever you hear of co-working, immediately everybody thinks everything co-working, Jamie Russo. And I just think that what you've done for our industry is just so incredible.
You're so sweet, and so many others. I mean, I think that's the fun part of like being along the ride for this like growth journey that co-working's going through. So, and now you're part of that too. So,
Yeah.
thank you. And thanks for making the time to do this. I know you have, lots going on, a busy day. So, thank you. And I hope we get to do this again.
Yes.
I'm
Thank
already
you so
thinking about
much.
part 2s.
Peace.
Thank you, Courtney.
Thank you so much, Jamie. Have a good one.